It's always easier to prepare food at home, obviously, because you know how much you're having. But what about when you are eating out or at a friend's place or at a restaurant? What do you think about cheat days?
Well, most people are overweight because they've developed an addictive relationship with food. And the foods that drive them to overeat are the foods that aren't healthy for them to begin with. If they stay away from salt, the salt drives them, their salt craving, their sugar craving, their oil or fat craving. And the cheat days reinforce their cravings and the addictions. It's like bringing to an alcoholic to a bar once a week. Instead of getting over the cravings and having them fade into the past and they no longer desire those foods, by having a cheat day, they constantly throw those foods in their face and make them always thinking about them, always wanting them more. And they never cross the line between preferring this way of eating over their old diet. I wouldn't consider a cheat day for myself because I don't like those things you'd be cheating on or a person's been cheating on. They don't have any appeal to me because I'd prefer the taste of my food better. I'd rather have my ice cream with the frozen banana, the macadamia nuts, and the real vanilla bean powder, real food compared to the stuff that's overly sweetened. I can taste the chemicals and bleach in it. This doesn't, but if I kept eating that heavily sweetened stuff, I would never appreciate the unsweetened, the lower sugar version of just the bananas with the macadamia nuts and the real vanilla bean powder wouldn't have much appeal to me. So what I'm saying is like here, like for example, we have this retreat in San Diego where people come from all over the world to get rid of food addiction and to lose weight. And they stay here for 2 to 3 months. And when they leave, they don't desire those cravings anymore. And they're abstaining from those foods long enough period of time where they're not caught, they're not in have this love affair with those foods, wanting them so much. So and their taste buds get stronger and change. So they prefer to have foods that are not so heavily sweetened and heavily flavored and heavily greasy and so greasy. So they prefer this way of eating after a while. And it makes for them it enables them to stay on the plan for the rest of their life and get maximum enjoyment from it. When you have one foot in both worlds, you never really your taste doesn't change all the way, and you don't really love eating this way. I want people to prefer eating this way. This is the way they desire to eat, and they'd rather eat this way than to eat the stuff that they used to like.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult. But here in Barcelona, there's a massive vegan movement. There are lots of organic restaurants, but even if you go to a healthy restaurant, there's going to be olive oil and salt and all of those things. So if it's a predominantly healthy restaurant with just a bit of oil and salt, would that be okay for one meal, or is it going to be?
It depends on the person, because for you or me, I can do that because I can eat one meal that has some oil and salt in it, and I would not want that again, and I would stay away from it for the next couple of weeks. It wouldn't make me into an addict, but for some people, having the oil and salt could throw them off their diet for the whole week, and they keep wanting more. It makes them want more of it. So it depends on the individual. The more you're a food addict, the more you have to stay away from those foods. If you're not a food addict and you can stay eating healthy the whole month and go out and have that once a month or so, and it doesn't make you want to have more of it, then it's no problem. It's like saying, well, if I smoked a cigarette, one night in a month, it wouldn't have any negative effect on me, except if I was an addict and it made me want to smoke more cigarettes, then it would have a negative effect. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And on the topic of, let's talk about diet and longevity. So what do you think are the best foods to keep us young? Any tips? It's a bit of a general.
Well, here, I want people to memorize these 5 words and write them down. Okay. Because the most proven methodology to extend the human lifespan is moderate caloric restriction in the context of micronutrient excellence. So those are the 5 words: moderate caloric restriction, micronutrient excellence. And I'm saying when we have the micronutrient exposure to the full symphony of nutrients humans require, then it naturally suppresses our appetite, and we feel satisfied with the right amount of calories, and we no longer desire to overeat. So we have to be well nourished without taking an excess of calories. Now, the foods that consistently show in the scientific literature the most protection against later life cancers and premature aging, I give that acronym GBOMBS, GBOMBS, which stands for greens, beans or legumes, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. Greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. So the greens, of course, are the salad, but also broccoli and artichokes and asparagus and string beans and zucchini, all the green foods. And number two, the beans include lentils and split peas and zucchini beans and soybeans, all the beans family, legume family. And then onions, scallions, garlic, different types of berries and low sugar fruits, and seeds like flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, which have dramatic anti-cancer effects. So GBOM. So I want people to eat the salad, for example, and